we should officially be live today on this Christmas special. For all of you watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, I have for you a great stream. Ho, ho, ho to all of you, and yes, to all of you, and yes, Christmas Day for each and every one of you. Today, I will be doing something very special. This is going to be, for all of you, a little bit of coffee and a little bit of a review. Yes, Davidoff. Put this over here. Oof. Yes, Davidoff. And we're going to put some coffee here. So for the meantime, while we do that coffee, we can place this here. Yes. All right, first thing we're going to need on this stream, on this morning coffee, Christmas 10 out of 10 Davidoff. This is number 2, signature number 2 tubos. We need a little bit of this. Shout out to all of you. Also, we are going to need some matches. I like to use matches. It gives you just a purity, a little bit of purity, not too much, but it gives you a good purity on your stogies. And for some of you, you need a good ashtray. I have a lot of different ashtrays that I could use. I could use La Aroma the Cube. I got 2 of them. I also have another one which I don't know if it's around here. I have a bunch of them, and currently, I kind of feel like this is the perfect thing to use for Christmas, right? So I'm gonna use this one. This is what I'm gonna use, and we gotta load up. And there we go. We just made that coffee. How beautiful. What a beautiful setup. For all of you watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you haven't already. And I'm about to show you. That, oof, it's hot. Oof, look at this. Oof, look at that. Looks good. Not too high. All right. Let's start off for all of you. Merry Christmas to all of you. Start off by doing this. So, Merry Christmas, all of you. Davidoff. Yes, Davidoff. This is the signature number 2 tubos. And there's your presentation. Beautiful presentation. Always clean. Always clean with Davidoff. Always clean. Merry Christmas, Bearded Viking. I see you. If I see a lot of you in the chat room, I'm going to try to give as much praise to each and every one of you for Merry Christmas kind of a day. This is a morning day for all of you. I am in Miami, Florida. So for all of you, look at here. It says Dominican. Yeah, so we're going to do some Dominican Davidoff. Good to see Joanne. Merry Christmas, Joanne. All right, let's pop this open. Merry Christmas, AM. Yes. Here we go. And AM was fortunate enough to send me this beautiful Davidoff number 2 signature tubos. Demon Prime, thank you so much, Demon Prime, for adding to this stream. And don't forget to hit that like button for all of you. Don't forget to hit that like button. Demon Prime, thank you so much. So here we are, yes. Officially, we can put that over there. That's a beautiful presentation. Look at this nice presentation. Davidoff signature number deuce. Beautiful, nice and white. White is the purest color, right? White is the nicest color out of everything. Black is nice and white is nice. Gold, well, too much gold, just it gets too heavy and it gets too overwhelming, right? Well, white is beautiful. Merry Christmas to all of you. So let's pop this open. Oof, look at this. Beautiful. Nice Davidoff. Oof, very nice. Okay, what we're going to do is also, there's another thing I usually do with tubos. Let me show you what I do with tubos, if I can get it. So, most of the tubos, any tubo that you get, which is any tube, usually gets cedar wood inside. Now this cedar for some of you, just a little learning curve for some of you, I like to use it to start up my stogie. We're going to start this up, and what I'm going to do is, it smells so good. Just smelling it, it smells amazing. The smell of nice wood, fresh wood. So good. So that cedar wood, what I'm going to be doing is, I'm just going to cut a little bit. And as much as I need, usually I take out. But most of the time, I just cut it like this, and this should be good enough. There we go. I have two pieces to start up my stogie, so I'm going to put two pieces here. I'm going to probably put this back, and I do recommend all of you use your cedar wood when it does come in because you're paying for it, right? And there we go. Beautiful presentation. Before we do anything, we're going to have to check this. Looks really, really nice. Davidoff, Merry Christmas to all of you, Davidoff. Look at this. All right, here we go. We're going to cut the tip. You want to kiss it a little bit. When you're cutting, you're going to cut above the cap. Okay, usually there's a cap. The cap should be here on this one. You can see a line. There's a cap. Sometimes it's a little bit higher. All right, so we're gonna cut above that. Beauty. And for all of you Reaper crew, you know what time it is. Reaper crew number one. Clear cap. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at this. Beautiful, nice cut. You could cut it smaller if you want to, but this is the slice I did. That should be good. The cap is looking good. No issues with the cap. So if you cut under the cap, what happens is you start unraveling your stogie. And you don't want that to happen. Davidoff numero dos. We're going to put this over here. Before we do anything, I don't have water out here. I don't plan on getting water, I don't think, because this is going to be, to me, this is going to be fairly light. For some of you that do not know, most of the time, very lighter, like Connecticut leaves, are the ones that really stand out to me for being morning stogies. And this, to me, I have to say, looks like a morning stogie and an afternoon stogie. I wouldn't have this at night, just by looking at it. Very light wrapper. Looks beautiful. I wouldn't suggest any of you to have this with something heavy, overpower your stogie. And one of the easiest things to do is, obviously, get some coffee. I'm going to say this ahead of time. This is the Dominican, okay, full Dominican filler. And I believe also the binder is Dominican. Now that I say that, I don't know officially if the wrapper is Dominican, but we could say that usually Davidoff tends to use, I believe, Ecuadorian wrappers. So we could say that maybe this one has an Ecuadorian wrapper, Dominican filler, and Dominican binder. So if you don't know the difference, well, the filler is in the inside. That's what fills up that. There's a binder that keeps all that together. And then to make it pretty, a stogie. Shout out to all of you. Merry Christmas. To make it pretty, they use a special leaf that goes around it. The most beautiful leaf, which is called the wrapper. And that is what you see around here that wraps up the filler and the binder. And then there is the beautiful wrapper. So far, the wrapper is beautiful. Sandy, I see you, Sandy. Merry Christmas. For anybody that I see in the chat room, Lord, I see you. Merry Christmas. If I see any of you, just know I'm going to try to say as much as Merry Christmas to all of you. Yesterday, huge shout out to Edgar Romeo yesterday. $100 super chat at the end of the stream. So huge shout out to Edgar Romeo. And this one is going to be for all of you. This review, but Edgar Romeo yesterday, if it wasn't for him, I'm going to say yesterday, if it wasn't for him, I think today's stream would be a little bit later. Here we go. Let's pop this open. Cheers, all of you. And let's start doing this. Very, very hard. The wind is kicking, so we're going to use a cedar wood. Ooh, there we go. Wow, wow, wow. Now finally got it. It shouldn't take it shouldn't take too long because, and you also don't want to use a big torch. This is very, very small. Don't forget, this one, the numero dos, is very, very small. The ring gauge, I believe, for some of you, 6 by 38. 6 by 38, I believe it is it. It is one of a kind, beautiful, beautiful, but I think we have to do this at the end. Let me see. We're good, we're good. All right, here we go. The first puff, first puff. Very, very creamy. Super creamy. Super creamy. And almonds, creamy. Super creamy, almost bready. Creamy, bready. Almonds. Oh, super, super, super. Super creamy. When I say the level of creaminess on here, this is like 10 out of 10 creaminess. 10 out of 10 creaminess. That's what she said, AM says. 10 out of 10 creaminess. But it is a little bit bready too. So if you like to make toasted bread, you know how you put the toasted bread in a toaster and it doesn't, it just, you keep it there for a minute and it just toasts up and it gets nice and toasty. Well, it gives you that beautiful toastiness. And there's a little bit of like almond, just a tad bit of almond on here. That personally, I'm gonna say it's very, very nice. It's almost like if you're having almond milk with a little bit of just a tad bit of almond milk with a little bit of bread, toasted up bread, and then you get just just a tad bit like. I'm not even gonna say that it has spice. Like I'm not gonna even say it has a lot of spice at all. But it does have just a little bit of a nick. And for some of you, we're gonna go over here and we're gonna make sure that we're gonna place this down. We're gonna try to place this down appropriately. There we go. That's beautiful. Okay, it's a coffee stream, right? So I'm gonna be drinking my coffee on the broken side of the. So for all of you, cheers, cheers, all of you. Morning coffee, Christmas Day. And here we go. Look at that beautiful thing. We got to have it with that chip side. Remarkable. Remarkable. Really good. Outstanding. Now, I'm going to say this. Since it's so small, you can let me know the size AM if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know the size. If I'm wrong, for any of you, Davidoff signature, numero deuce. Numero deuce. We're going to do this again, and what I'm going to do is I tend to do this over here because I like to taste some of those flavors. Here we go. Cheers, all of you. Let's see if I find more. Just keep it in your mouth for a little bit. That's what she said. Keep it in your mouth in a little bit. It gives you a little bit more of those pepper notes that you sometimes find in your stogies that keeps it a little bit alive. I have a tad bit of a, almost like a white pepper note on here. It's not black pepper that I'm tasting. It's white pepper, and it makes this a little bit cleaner. It makes it nice and clean. Again, we still have that nutty note. That nutty note that's beautiful. It's not very sweet, if I could say, but it's a little bit in the middle of sweet. A little bit in the middle of sweet to want to be rich. Can't be rich if it's a lighter stogie, right? Either way, this is as clean as it gets. Davidoff signature, numero dos. Here we go. Let's go again. Merry Christmas, all of you. See. Retrohaling this. It's a beautiful thing to retrohale this. It's like I'm blowing out clean air. It's like if I'm blowing out clean air. There's a very much of a cedar wood presence on here on every lick of this. And for some of you that do not know, I do know that you guys heard me say at the beginning. But every tube comes, and most tubes, not all tubes, but most tubes. Oops. Most tubes come with cedar wood inside, so you're going to be tasting a lot of that on the wrapper. And it's actually good to taste that on the wrapper. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's honestly pointless, but it's very, very good. And what's the point of them to do a tube? Well, a tube is meant for you to hold those flavors for the years to come. No air basically travels in there. That's the point. They hope that no air travels in here, and it literally comes out of the factory of how it is and how it tastes like. This is not age. You cannot age your stogies with this. When it comes to tubes, these are not aged. So If you have one that comes in a tube like a Davidoff and you put this away, you put the whole Davidoff away, the whole box away, and it's clear on the tube, well, you're not aging it. It's going to be stuck in the year that it was made. So, for example, this one was made in 2025, right? If you keep it in the tube, without opening it, obviously, keep it in the tube, it will keep the flavors of what the stogie creator, the stogie wrapper, the stogie roller was meant for you to taste it like. And I think it's a beautiful thing to have tubes. Tubes is a beautiful thing. Right, ladies? Right, ladies? Anyways, here we go. Let's see. Davidoff, Davidoff. Hit that like button. It's Christmas Day. Christmas Day. I gotta say, it's very clean. Very clean. Very clean. Like every puff I'm taking, super clean. It's almost like I'm having the most highest end nuttiness. It's like they use the most, it's the most expensive nut in the world, the macadamia nut. But they ain't no macadamia nut here. You have a little bit, also vanilla. I'm starting to taste a little bit of vanilla on here. That's very nice. It goes along with that almond that I'm tasting, that nuttiness that I'm tasting. It's not too nutty, so just so you guys know, it's not too nutty. There's a little bit of a almost clean earth kind of a taste, a little bit of that cedar wood, and at the end of the day, we're just gonna say this. This is nothing to be full body. You're not gonna get full body on here. You're gonna be basically on the medium side to mild. I'm just gonna say mild. This is mild. Okay, we're not gonna even say medium. This currently is mild right now. Mild, mild, mild. Like I think any rookie out there would buy this and say, "Man, this is beautiful." Is that how all stogies taste like? No, that's not how all stogies taste like. But you have a Davidoff numero deuce, right? Numero deuce signature, yes. And this is exactly what you think of when you're having a Davidoff. Clean, heavenly, nice puff. It's almost like if you're really just doing a vape. It's like you're doing a vape. Here, let's do this again. If you have a big mouth, I'm gonna say this. If you have a big mouth, this is gonna be very tiny. My hands are literally. I have to hold this with two hands. That's how small it is. For some of you that want to see the size, there you go. There's the size of this. It kind of looks like a cigarette, right? Point of matter is very, very small. Very, very small. One of my favorites is Churchill, the Churchill sizes. I like the Churchill sizes. They're a little bit thicker than this. And the Churchill sizes are just, to me, they're more preferable. But this size is, I believe it's 6 by 38. 6 by 38. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have a little of that coffee. So far, it's very nice. Is it something to go out there and say, "Wow, having the most amazing stogie in the world"? Well, we're not gonna say this is the most amazing stogie in the world. This is class. If you want class, you drink class, or you smoke class, or you drive class, or you wear class. It's just what it is. It's class. That's all you're paying for. You're paying for the class. And if I can say anything, cheers to all of you. Let's drink this up. Let's drink this up. If I can say anything to really just make you realize that everybody goes for Davidoffs, not every Davidoff out there is going to be something that you're looking for. Davidoff are meant to be simple, classy, luxurious. You don't feel like you're doing a real stogie right now. You feel like you're doing something that's super, super clean. The only thing that I can say is a little bit spot off, like a little bit different. There's a little bit of earthiness. It's very, very unique. A little earthiness on here. And when it comes to Davidoff, one of the things that Davidoff tend to have is there's a very specific flavor to Davidoff. And for some of you, it's almost like clean sweet. Clean sweet is how I can explain to you Davidoff. clean sweet and not too peppery at all, right? So here we go. We're going to do this. Here we go. Let's try it out. I'm going to have it. I'm going to retrohale this here. Let's see if we get more notes. Currently, I'm getting a lot of vanilla. I'm getting a ton of vanilla. I did have orange juice earlier, and I'm kind of tasting a little bit of zinginess. There's a little bit of zinginess right now. We're almost at the half point of the stogie. There's a little bit of a zinginess, just a tad bit of zinginess. Now, for some of you that don't know English, of my English, well, zinginess is like, I'm getting a little bit of like a zestiness. Kind of like a watered down, OJ. A little bit of zinginess, right? What does zinginess mean? Just a little of citrus, right? I'm getting just a tad bit of that. But the one thing that's dominating currently right now is the almond. There's an almond note on here that's dominating, and there's a little bit of vanilla note on here that's dominating this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful wrapper and this beautiful Davidoff. Here we go. Let's do it again. Oof. Oof. I'm starting to get a little bit of spice. I'm not getting the spice that some of you would probably say is heavenly. If I could say too, also, some of you tend to want to have a stogie and find coffee notes, right? Most of you really know that when it comes to stogies, sometimes you do get coffee notes. On this one, if I could tell you one thing that this reminds me of a nice little Italian coffee with a froth in the top. An Italian coffee with a lot of froth in the top. That's what it reminds me of. Creamy, 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 creamy. Super creamy. It has a super creamy feel to it. And if I was to tell you anything, that's probably as close as creamy as I can get to you to tell you before a woman out here says, that's what I said. It's a creaminess. That's what makes this also another top rated stogie, right? Now, I'm going to say this. We're already in the halfway point. This is still mild to me. It's beautiful. It's mild. It's honestly anything you want to have around your family. If you want to have something around your family, they're not gonna say, get away from me. They're not gonna say, oof, it's too strong. They're not gonna say, if you're with your family or with your friends, they're not gonna say, well, what are you doing? It's like peppery. No, I'm not gonna say that. If you're around friends and family with this, they're gonna say, wow, what you smoking? What you doing? And then that's what they're gonna say, because it's just one of the cleanest stogies you can find, right? Here we go. There is a zinginess, and the zinginess is starting to turn up. We're at the midpoint. We're at the midpoint almost, right, of this stogie. I'm getting a zinginess that's kind of taking over. I'm not saying it's bad. But that zinginess, I was hoping to get a little bit more, just a tad bit more pepper, right? I want a little bit of adventure, right? You're not gonna get too much of an adventure. This is a smooth ride, very smooth ride, the smoothest ride you can think of. What kind of smooth ride? Like a Cadillac, smooth Cadillac ride, right? If you're in an Escalade, or if you're in one of those Mercedes E-Class, right? A very smooth. This is not a sports car. This is not a motorcycle. This is not a rough ride like a Jeep. This is not a Cherokee. This is not anything rough. This is as smooth as a ride as possible. Creamy, smooth, and very nice. Over here, AM in the chat room says short finish. No cigar aftertaste once you're done. Now, that's a good thing, right? After you're done, it's not going to be a cigar aftertaste, a stogie aftertaste, which is good. Most of the times you do get when you finish your stogie, you get a certain aftertaste in your mouth. Sometimes you have to go brush your teeth, or sometimes just drink some soda, and that's it. Walk out of the house. But for all of you to know, AM says in the chat room, this is a stogie for the people who don't like stogies. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. This is exactly the opposite. This is exactly the opposite of what you think of when you're in a Ferrari, right? You're not going to have this in a Ferrari. This is literally somebody that has a Maserati. Somebody has a Maserati. Maybe they might have this Davidoff. This is maybe somebody Maserati would have. We're going to take off the first label on here, the first band. There we go. I got to unwrap the first band now. I'm using 2 fingers or 3 fingers. One thing you have to be careful with this one, and for some of you that are liking this review, be careful with the little tip. All right, be careful with the tip. Since it's such a small, delicate stogie, be careful with the tip. Now, the tip over here is very much easy to get wet, right? Ooh, that's what she said. Point of the matter is, you don't want to put this completely in your mouth. If you put it completely in your mouth, then it's going to be right over here. You're going to get all of this wet, and it's going to be a mess. So be careful. Be careful. Try to keep this at the edge of your lips. Edge of your lips. You can't put it all the way on the side of your teeth. No. This Davidoff is beautiful. Beautiful presentation. Here we go. Let's try it again. Good amount of cedar wood. A good amount of cedar wood. At this point, a good amount of cedar wood. Vanilla's keeping this nice, but I'm getting more of that. Now I'm starting to get a little bit more pepper on here. A little bit more pepper I'm getting, which is nice. That's what I wanted. A little bit more pepper. And that zinginess. It's in the air, the zinginess. There's like a zesty. Not a zesty. A zesty is like, a zesty. There's like a citrus note. It's a citrus note that's really, it's literally, you're trying it, you're tasting it, it's in the air. There's a little bit of a citrus note. Got a little bit of citrus note on here. Over here, I'm going to say this, shout out to all of you, it's Christmas Day, so I'm going to try my best to read the chat room. Willie says, he had bought a Bullet Rye whiskey, you know what? So be it. He says, order some nice ryes under $60 for beginners. Well, the only rye you should get under $60 if you're a beginner, and one of the best rye whiskeys out there is a Sazerac rye whiskey. Sazerac rye whiskey would really go very, very well with this. Very well with this. So if you want to get a rye whiskey, any of you want to get a rye whiskey, go get yourself a Sazerac rye whiskey. That Sazerac rye whiskey, beautiful price. It's about $30-some. The big 1.75 is about $59.99. And it's a good, one of the best ryes in the market for any of you. Beginners, rookies, enthusiasts, all alike. I think that's one I would have with this one. I would have it with that one. Now, I'm going to say this. It is kind of, it's going away from the mild. That's good. It's finally starting to move around. Tony, Merry Christmas, Tony. Merry Christmas, Tony. Jeff, Merry Christmas. Beat that meat. Over here for all of you. Davidoff, Merry Christmas to each and every one of you that's coming in the chat room. I don't tend to read the chat room as often as I should, but today is a very exceptional day. If you're in the chat room, I'm going to try to give you a shout out. I'm going to try my best to give you a shout out. Cool, off water, What? Willie says, cool, Davidoff cool water. No, no, no. Don't they get Davidoff cool water. Over here we go. Now, Davidoff does have a lot of different things. Davidoff has a perfume, a fragrance. They have merch, clothes. They have lighters. They have shoes. They have belts. Davidoff has a lot of things. But the one thing that stands out to everybody when it comes to Davidoff, the one thing that stands out to everybody when it comes to the oof, you guys, I'm making you guys cockeyed. Let me try to put this over here. One thing that stands out to everybody when it comes to Davidoff is not only their umbrellas, not only their beautiful, beautiful lighters and matches. One thing that stands out to everybody is the stogies. The stogies. The stogies. Now, I'm going to say my experience with this currently right now, what I'm getting is I'm just getting very, very easygoing stogie. And cheers to all of you drinking some coffee. Cheers to all of you. Morning coffee. Christmas Day. Also, anybody that shows up in the chat room, I'm gonna say ho ho ho. I'm just joking. Unless you're a woman, how many ho hos we are here? Empty Sense, thank you so much. Shout out to all of you. Empty Sense, thank you so much for being here. Merry Christmas, and for all of you, Merry Christmas in the chat room. Here we go. Let me see if I find no more notes. We're getting to the base of that lip. Here we go. Now, I wouldn't suggest some of you to buy the Davidoff perfumes. Davidoff used to make very good fragrances and colognes, but I think they fell off of that a long time ago. The train has left, and it's not going to come back anytime soon. So if you ever want to get some good products of Davidoff, the only thing I can say is stogies. The colognes stinks. Trade dookie the colognes. Too much alcohol in most of the colognes. And for some of you that do not know, there's a lot of other good fragrances out there. I could even name some of the fragrances out there that you should probably get. Even CK, which is Calvin Klein. Calvin Klein even makes better fragrances than Davidoff. I don't want to knock down Davidoff because we're officially doing a review of Davidoff. But I have to be honest, I think Calvin Klein doesn't make better belts than Davidoff, doesn't make better shoes than Davidoff, doesn't make better leather products like wallets like Davidoff. But Calvin Klein has that cologne market in check. Davidoff, they used to. Here we go, let's try this out. Only issue I'm currently having, and another thing for some of you to know, you're paying top dollar for some of these, right? Some of these Davidoffs that are small. Shout out to all of you. You're paying top dollar for some of these boxes that are good size, right? These stogies are not going to last you a long time. They're just not going to last you a long time. So far, we're 30 minutes in. 30 minutes into this stogie, and look, it's already done. It's like I just had a whole... It's like I had a breakfast. It's like I had a breakfast, right? Over here, man. I see you, man. Merry Christmas to all of you. But this is just the one flaw with the small stogies. They're going to be gone. They're going to be gone in no time. They're already gone. I already want another stogie. But so far, it's keeping it clean. Am I impressed with this? I'm personally impressed. My Churchill, the Churchill that I have, personally to me, the Churchill that I have is more impressive to me than this. That's my personal opinion. Again, my own stogie compared to another brand. Yes, I will say it. I'm always going to say, Michael Jordan's always going to say Nike is his favorite because it's his, that's where his brand comes from. But Davidoff, it's very nice. Let me do it again. Oof. Oof. Wow. I'm at the midpoint. Actually, I'm at the final point. I'm at the final point of this. The pepper has increases accuracy on my palate. The woody note on here is a little bit daint, a little bit daint. The citrus note that I was telling you I was finally finding is starting to come out on me a little bit too hard. I'm starting not to like that citrus note that I have on here. It's bothering me just a little bit. It's kind of bothering me like wearing a citrus note on a cold day. It's bothering me just a tad bit. It's not cold out here, by the way. Here it's a beautiful sunny day, but the citrus note is it's kind of affecting my palate a little bit, and I'm kind of not enjoying my experience with this just because of that citrus note. And for some of you that do not know, if I was to say what a perfect stogie this would be, if it had that creaminess, that vanilla, if it had that woody note, no citrus, if it didn't have a citrus, and it had a little bit more, just a little bit more of pop of maybe a little bit of a more of a nut throughout the whole palate, a little more of a nut. The nut is fading off completely over here. The nut is fading off completely. If I had the nut completely and it changed from that almond nut to maybe even just peanuts, I mean, to me, it's fine. At least I can taste something different. But a citrus note on here that I'm tasting it's kind of to me right now it's kind of coin, and I'm not gonna say that it's a David. I'm not gonna say it's a David Downer, but here we go. Drink up. Cheers, all of you that have some of the coffee. It's kind of annoying that there's a little citrus note that right now it's over blossoming all the other notes, and it's kind of bothering me just a tad bit. Just a tad bit. It's bothering me and it's affecting me just a little bit because it's making this a little bit to the point that I'm even smelling my hands. It's like I have a citrus note on here. So for some of you, just any of you that just tuned in, I'm doing a Davidoff number two, right? Number two. Yes, yes, signature number two tubos. This is a Connecticut wrapper. Okay, so this is a Connecticut stogie. You guys know how the stogies go, right? Lighter leaf, Connecticut. The lighter the leaf, usually you get more of a toasty note, and then it goes to habanos, habanos, right? They're a little bit more brown. And then you get the Maduros, which the Maduros are the darkest ones. Doesn't mean the Maduros are always going to be the strongest ones. But most of the time, the Maduros they're very black. This is not black, but they're very, very dark. And the Maduros tend to have darker notes, mainly coffee. Sometimes they have chocolate. Habanos, which is the ones that are just a little bit darker than this, a browner leaf. Those tend to have all type of flavors. And when it comes to Connecticut, I'm just going to say this. If you get a good Connecticut leaf, you'll enjoy the toasty breadiness on your wrapper. If you get a bad Connecticut leaf, you're going to taste almost a burnt toast throughout the whole stogie. And that's something that maybe you don't want to have. Every Connecticut is going to be just a little bit different. But most of the time, you should have a little bit of a toasted note. Why is it good to have a Connecticut in the morning? Because it gives you that morning breakfast kind of a feel. But you will find some Connecticut leaves, lighter leaves, not Davidoff, but other brands. You will find some other brands that have like super toasty notes, buttery toasty, sometimes even toastness that are like it's super toasty, like to the point that your mouth just stays covered in that toast, almost like if you have oak in your mouth, almost like if you have cedar in your mouth, almost like if you have like a how can I say? Almost like if you have like toasted up a toast in your oven for a little bit, and you're cracking it, and it leaves you that toasty taste in your mouth, right? Shout out to Roar. Good to see Roar. And for all of you, don't forget to subscribe if you're new. I know most of you are subscribers. Matt, I see you. Matt, subscriber. Sandy's a subscriber. He comments, and Tony's a subscriber. He comments on some of my short videos. Merry Christmas, all of you. Davidoff numero dos. So, again, Connecticut. There's a Connecticut leaf. Beautiful Connecticut wrapper. And so far, creamy. Creamy, creamy. Here we go. Let's try this out. Oof. It is getting a little bit corny with a little citrus note. Somebody over here, the realist, thank you so much. Happy Merry Christmas for each and every one of you that don't put Santa at the front part of the gift. You are the man. Best bourbon under 40. Well, the best bourbon under 40, you have it here. Best bourbon under $40. Wild Turkey, 8 year. There you go. The best whiskey. The best whiskey under $40. I mean $50. Right there. Wild Turkey. You have it right here. Boom, boom. Have it right here. Best bourbon under $50. There you go. Happy Christmas and Merry Christmas, New Year's, and Happy Hanukkah, Happy Thanksgiving, Happy birthday. Here we go. Uh-oh. This is the bad thing about sometimes these things. Uh-oh. Now we're going to have an issue. It turned off. The worst issue is when it turns off. When you have a small stogie, it turns off. Because you could burn the wrapper, right? Let's try to figure this out. That was a close one. All right, I'm going to take off the wrapper, Davidoff. Take out that Davidoff wrapper. Here we go. Let's take it off. It feels so wrong for me to take it off. It feels so wrong. I don't think I'm going to take it off. Again, I'm losing a little bit of that nuttiness. Let me tell you what it tastes like currently right now. Here we go. Super toasty. Toasty. Creaminess went away completely. Citrus, a little bit of citrus. Woody. A tad bit of pepper, but why pepper? Don't. Just because I said pepper, don't think it's black pepper. Don't think it's going to be heavy. A little bit of white pepper, and just toastiness. I don't like my experience that I'm having currently right now. I like the beginning experience of this stogie, certainly. Over here, somebody says, option on Redbreast 12 years, rock. Straight dookie, my man. Straight dookie. If you want an Irish whiskey, if you want real Irish whiskey, you got to get the Redbreast that's cast strength, okay? If you want a real Irish whiskey, get the cast strength Redbreast. For all of you, here we go. Cheers to all of you. Drink us up. Now, for some of you older folks, somebody had asked in the chat room, opinion on Redbreast 12 year. Redbreast 12 year, for any of you that do not know, if you want to have that Irish spirit, if you want to have a cocktail, have it with a Redbreast 12 year. Redbreast 12 year is going to be everything you want in a beautiful, nice going Irish whiskey. And you're going to be able to still flavor most of that Redbreast, that Irish whiskey. But I don't suggest any of you out there to just go out and buy the 12 year unless you're packing some cocktails, unless you're putting it on ice, unless you're doing something different to the Redbreast 12 year. But I don't recommend the 12 year. Get the Redbreast cast strength. The beautiful part of the cast strength is you get everything from the barrel. You get all the flavors of that whiskey, of how that whiskey should be without the huge age, right? The age doesn't really matter sometimes when it comes to Irish whiskey. So just know this. So cast strength, you could drop a little bit of water. You could drop it in a bowl. You could drop it in a bowl, dilute it a little bit, and it'll just taste amazing. It'll taste fabulous. So for all of you, cast strength, don't forget to have your cast strength first. Have it neat. If you like it neat, keep it neat. If you need to add some drops, add some drops. And then after, you could do it with the cast strength however you want to. You can put it on ice. You can do whatever you want to. For all of you, there's the question, and I just answered it because today's Christmas. I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking at the chat room. I'm looking at the chat room. I don't even know why I said that. Why did I say that? Maybe it's the coffee. Some people think I'm on drugs sometimes. I do a whole line of Tony Montana. It's not that. It's the sugar, right? It's the sugar. Merry Christmas, Mike. I see that mustache. I know there's a lot of French women in France that have that mustache in their armpits. Here we go. Cheers to all of you. Let's drink this up. The one issue you want to know about the Davidoff, small stogies in general, you have to try to keep them in your mouth as much as possible. If it turns off, you're in bad luck. And here we go. Davidoff numero dos. That's beautiful, right? Now, the beautiful thing is, if you want to have, this is something for some of you bourbon heads and you Scotch whiskey lovers and your Irish whiskey lovers. Bullet is straight dookie. Point of the matter is, I see you, Max. We got 2 Max in the chat room. If you're having this with whiskey, okay, you're having it. If you want to have this whiskey, if you want to have this Davidoff with a whiskey, be careful. When it comes to a lighter stogie like this, you want to go low proof. Now, what kind of low proof would I recommend some of you to have with this? That's a hard one. One of my favorite ones, what I would recommend to have with this, since this already has that citrus note, maybe the caramel and some of the other notes. Tin Cup 14 would be a beautiful one to have with this one. Tin Cup 14. Also, Isle of the Sky 30. If you ever have an Isle of the Sky 30, it's a Scotch whiskey. It's a blended Scotch whiskey you get at your stores. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That would be really good with this because it has hazelnuts that. It has like a hazelnut, sticky, icky kind of a syrupy, beautiful, beautiful take on the whiskey, and it just would go good with this. One thing that this is missing currently right now, one thing it's missing is a little bit more notes, right? Just a little bit more notes is what this is missing. I'm not gonna say that this is supposed to be the best in the world, but you guys already know. When you're paying top dollar for these Davidoffs, it's kind of like, let me explain to you what this is. This is like the pure form of what you really want in a classy stogie. That's what it is. In a classy, luxurious stogie. Whenever you go have breakfast at a restaurant, a 5-star restaurant, you want the eggs to be perfect. You go to a 5-star restaurant for a reason, right? Because you want the eggs to be perfect. Well, guess what? If you want a 5-star Connecticut leaf stogie, there we go. You have one that's perfect. You're never going to be, none of these are never, they're always going to be tasting the same, especially they're in the tube. They're going to be tasting exactly the same. Over here, I'm going to say this. We're going to make sure that you know we still have this going. Chevy. Merry Christmas, Chevy. Everybody that shows up to the chat room today, right now, I will give you a little bit of just a tad bit of a hello, tad bit of a Merry Christmas, tad bit of a how are you? All right, here we go. Hit that like button for the Christmas stream, relaxing Christmas stream. I'm sitting down in the chair. I ain't gonna be sitting down on my motorcycle today. I'll tell you that right now. Here we go. Let's do this over here. Heavy, 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 heavy. Hands orange though. I'm just gonna say it. It's like a bitterness of it's like a bitterness of an orange that I'm tasting. Bitterness of an orange that I'm tasting currently on this side of the stogie. Bitterness of an orange. How can I explain to you? It's like you just toasted up a toast. You take a bite out of the toast with the butter, right? And then after that, you take a bite of an orange. But the orange you taste, it's like young. It's not juicy, right? It's not juicy, so it leaves you a bitterness. It leaves you a bitterness in your mouth, and I'm getting the bitterness on here. A little bit of bitterness on here. I'm not going to officially say that. I'm not going to officially say that. I'm going to tell you guys right now. I'm not officially going to say that this is the best stogie you can ever buy, but it's very consistent. That's what I'm going to say. It's very consistent. If you ever want to buy a stogie, I would personally tell you guys to skip on this. If I was to tell you something to skip on this, personally, my recommendation is try to skip Davidoffs. Davidoff's a little bit too much for what you're paying for. You're just paying for class, right? When you're riding, I don't know if any of you rode in a Rolls Royce before. When you're riding in a Rolls Royce, you feel amazing, right? You feel amazing. But when it comes time, like 2 months, 3 months down the line, you're just gonna feel like you're in any other car. You're gonna have your doubts eventually after you have that Rolls Royce. You're gonna say, you know what, it's just a car. But the first couple months is gonna be amazing, right? And this is kind of how it is with Davidoff. When you buy Davidoff, you're just gonna feel all that elegance, that luxury, and then eventually you realize, what? Why am I spending too much? Why am I spending too much on this? Why? So many other. That's what it is. That's what it is. You're gonna start to realize that, you know what? There's so many other good stogies out there for a less, half the price, maybe even a quarter of the price, right? That's what it is. There's just so many other stogies out there that you can buy. I'm not going to say that for some of you that I'm not trying to take away your dream of having a Rolls Royce. Some of you want to have a Rolls Royce. Some of the women want to have red bottom heels. But when the women wear the red bottom heels, the same thing happens to them when they wear a purse that's expensive. The same thing happens to them, right? They like it for the first month. They like the feel that everybody looks at them. And then the second month comes around, it's like it fades off. You ever had some spinners on your car, on your Cadillac? You ever had some spinners in your car? Riding spinners, I'm riding spinners. Yeah, you know that song. Well, I've never had spinners in my life. But all the African Americans out here in Miami, they liked them spinners when it was a real thing. And the first day that they have the spinners, they love them spinners, right? It's like having brand new Michael Jordan shoes. I don't own any I own more Michael Jordan shoes, but not those that you see on some of the kids' shoes. Point of matter is, what I'm trying to say is, you will fall off this completely. Rating on this one, I'm going to say we have to still give it a 10 out of 10. Okay, we can't say Davidoff is not 10 out of 10. We have to give it a 10 out of 10. Unfortunately, I know all the other stogies out there, but we still have to give the presentation. We have to give the feel. We have to give the luxury, just aspect of this, a 10 out of 10 experience. I can't tell you that I like the end of this. Let me see. I can't tell you that I like the end of this stogie. It's just too much citrus, right? Too much citrus on this. It's like a bitter orange. But I still have to give this a high rating. Now, I kind of want to, if I was to rate this from 1 to 10, personally, I would have to say an 8. Okay, an 8 or a 7. I would have to rate this an 8 or a 7. There's so many other stogies out there that are so better, but I have to say a 10 out of 10 just because when you buy a Christmas tree on Christmas, you buy a fresh one, it's going to be a 10 out of 10. Once you start having that Christmas tree in your house for a while, you have the Christmas tree in your house, the smell fades away. The smell fades away. The ants start getting to your Christmas tree. And you find some spiders. But the first day you have it is a 10 out of 10. The first week is going to be a 10 out of 10. What I'm trying to say here is this like a Christmas tree? It is Christmas, yes. I think Davidoff is like a Christmas tree. You enjoy it when you enjoy it. Once you start getting to the end of it and when you start realizing that, you know what, there is other things out there that are better, well, maybe the rating goes lower. But I'm going to have to say, it's just, you're always going to get perfect quality on these Davidoffs. So if you're one of these guys that's into that, this is just honestly what I have to say. It is a perfect gift for you, yourself, your friends, your family, your others. Maybe you gay dude. Maybe you homo sapien. Maybe you, I don't know. Maybe you just like anybody that's called David, and you just say, you know what, Davidoff is my thing. There's reasons why people buy this. And if you're a straight dude, well, you'll probably buy this too. Point of matter is, you're a woman, lesbian, don't matter, big head, small feet, small shoes. Does it all matter? Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what matters is the product. The product is what everybody goes to. And I'm going to say, let me do this over here. Oh, man, it just turned off. Let's take off this bed. I'm going to say I just don't like the end of this. I'm going to show you next week the better version of these Davidoffs. And this is horrible to say. If I'm reviewing this, it's horrible to say, but I have to say it. Okay. The main stogie roller of Davidoff had walked away because he wasn't satisfied. He walked away and created his own brand. His own brand is very popular in the stogie community. And he puts great stogies out there that are literally almost drop, cheap compared to this. Almost like we're not even talking about half the price, like insanely amount, discounted. And to me, it's a better version of these Davidoffs, and it still has that sweetness that some of these Davidoffs give off. I'm not going to say that the sweetness turns me off. But it's honestly is something that Davidoff has. There's a certain aspect of when you know you're having a Davidoff. There's a certain aspect of a sweetness that comes to light, and you can still find it in the other one. I will not talk about that brand yet till I show you it. Which, as a matter of fact, I think I did show you guys it one time, reviewed it, but we're gonna review it again. We're gonna review the whole lineup. We're gonna see how the stogie roller, the main stogie roller, how he produced some of his other ones, and we'll get through the whole line. We'll go through the whole line for all of you here trying us out. By the way, this is not, for some of you, this is not a blunt. This is a stogie. It's not a blunt, it's a stogie. It's a stogie. It's a stogie. And for all of you here goes, drink yourself. So AM had asked rating so far. Rating so far is what it is, right? You got your Rolls Royce. You got your Rolls Royce. Now what you gonna do to it? You gonna look at it? Well, you can't drink your Rolls Royce, right? You can only ride it. And I think that's really the main thing about Davidoff. Davidoff, such a beautiful presentation. Everything's so beautiful. Now the Habanos a little bit different. Let's not say anything bad about Davidoff. The Habanos a little bit different. Remember, Connecticut leaves are just going to be almost, they're going to be like this. But not all the Connecticut leaves are going to have that citrus note on here. That's honestly, this is it's really. I'm not going to say it's bad. It's just, I think if it was a hot day, I would enjoy that citrus note that I'm tasting. It's just not a super hot day. I think currently here in Miami, it's about 77, 77 around there. About 77? Around there, about 77. Merry Christmas, all of you. Let's drink some. Cheers, cheers, cheers. I think my dog wants to come out here. You heard him? I think he wants to come out here. Here we go. Let's do the final part of this. Woody. I'm losing a lot of that pepper that I was getting in the mid. Now it's almost like just woody, citrus. It doesn't have the creaminess anymore at the end. We're at the end. It doesn't have the creaminess anymore. Woody, citrus. Woody, citrus is what I'm getting. There's a tad bit of just a little faint amount of nut. And there is one thing that's really, really, I'm going to say, just throughout, from the mid to the end. Very toasty. It's getting toastier and toastier. Anyways, for all of you, how far am I going to go? I think this is as far as I go on this one. This is as far as I go on this one. So this is going to be mild to mild. I don't even want to say medium. I didn't want to say medium, but it's getting to the point that's getting a little bit medium bodied at the final stage of it. So mild, super mild to literally you have to get all the way to the nub. You have to get to the nub to really get to the medium. So for some of you, there you go on the strength. And I'm just going to drink the rest of this coffee. In the poll in the chat room, Merry Christmas. Let me see what you guys said. Merry Christmas, what you guys say? 40% says ho, ho, ho. 25% says yes, yes, yes. 20% of you says yes, yes. And then 15% of you, I don't know how many 50%s all out here, said no, no, no. And for all of you that do not know, today is a great day for sports. We're going to have NFL here in America. We're going to have basketball. I think basketball just started like an hour ago. I think New York Knicks are playing against the Cavaliers. There's going to be football games today. I think the football game should be starting anytime. The Dallas Cowboys should be playing today against Washington. What's the other? Lions. The Lions are going to be playing against the Vikings today. And I believe, who is the other one? Texans, I think. Or is it, maybe it's not the Texans. Yeah, Texans against the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's going to be a lot of football games. And for all of you, I'm going to say this. You guys are awesome. Each and every one of you. I hope you had a fantastic Christmas. Remember, that is one of the whiskeys of the year. Wild Turkey 8 year. You sold the whiskey of the year. You could go rewatch yesterday's stream. You could go see it. Go check out the whiskey of the year. It's on our channel. Whiskey of the year is from yesterday. Go check it out. And a huge appreciation to Edgar Romeo yesterday, $100 super chat. And he said Merry Christmas to everybody. So for all of you, $100 super chat. And today, huge shout out to Davidoff. Yesterday, the ladies also sent super chats. Thank you for the ladies. The ladies aren't here. They're probably with their family. And everybody's probably with their family. Except me. Right now, I'm with you guys. This is the family that I have built up for all of you community. I try to build up this community as best as I can. And for all of you watching, I want to give you the best products, show you the best products. And at the end of the day, if you find that wild turkey next week, New Year's is a great one to have. But if you want to know the whiskey of the year, go check out yesterday's stream. It should be up. I did cook a little bit of a ham, which I have some leftover ham, which I will be having today. And for a lot of you watching, that's a final review. Huge thank you to AM for the stream. Huge thank you for everybody that has been here. But ladies and gentlemen, we have to give it to the USA. Ripper, you know what time it is? We're number one. Huge shout-outs to the USA. Huge shout-outs to the U.S. Marines, U.S. Army, U.S. Navy, U.S. Air Force, and the U.S. Space Force battling the aliens over there on the moon. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And that's an official review of the Davidoff signature numero dos tubos. Beautiful. And there you go. There's your review. You guys are awesome. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget. Hit that like button, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. 2025 is here, and today is Christmas. Merry Christmas to all of you. Merry Christmas to all of you and the members. I see you, members. And for all of you, thank you so much. Have a great, great Christmas. And don't forget, never put Santa on the present. Make sure your big old name is right on that present. I'll see you all soon, and I'll see you tomorrow or later on today. Reaper officially signing out.